let's talk about round 6, everyone. Because I played a very interesting game against Olga Zimina. She is from Italy. She's an international master. She's rated 2340. She doesn't have a great tournament so far, so I thought I had great chances. But still, you never know when the international master in them awakens, because those people are really strong. And you cannot just rely on the results they have currently. So, I was still very wary. So yeah, let's have a look how the game started. E4, C6, D4, D5. Yeah, so I saw that she's playing the Caracan almost always. It was on me pretty much to decide which line do I go for. I decided to go for the line E5, the advanced variation. She played C5. She plays both C5 and Bishop F5, so I prepared some lines there. But she played C5. And here I saw a game of hers where she faced C5, and it was actually my opponent of round 5, I believe, Yulia Movsesian, who played against her. And Yulia played D takes C5. And I really liked the opening she played, and apparently it's one of the main variations in this line, which I have no idea about, or like the modern line or something of this variation, but I have no idea what to do there. But I like the position. I thought, let's go for it. So my opponent played e6, I play a3, bishop takes c5, and queen g4. I'm attacking the pawn g7, and black plays knight e7. Now I have to be honest with you, during my prep, first of all, I didn't really expect this would actually be on the board. I expected bishop f5 instead of c5. Second of all, I didn't quite check what happens after queen takes g7, so I have no idea. Apparently there's a repetition here. So after queen takes g7, there's knight g6, and after bishop d3, bishop f8, queen f6, bishop e7, and you're forcing the repetition. I guess that's why this line, I guess that's why people don't take on g7, because obviously Yulia did not take. But I actually didn't really check why queen takes g7 is not played. I had no idea, but I figured I should not play it. So I played b4. Actually, so my opponent played bishop b6. But I was slightly terrified of moves like h5 all of a sudden. I thought, wait a second, that might be a little bit annoying. My queen has to leave somewhere, like queen g3 or something. And I don't know, my queen feels a bit awkward somehow. Oh, actually, there's bishop d4 here even. Ugh. Yeah, I don't really know what to do with this line, so I was quite clueless. But okay, bishop b6, bishop b2, simply developing, knight g6, bishop d3, just developing. I spent quite some time on these moves because I was simply absolutely clueless. I didn't actually remember the game from Yulia against Olga, but I knew what was more or less happening. I just didn't remember the move order. So she played the move queen h4, and I actually did see this. But I didn't think she was going to play it. I really did not think that she would play it. And here I spent so much time figuring out, do I play queen g3? Or do I take on h4? And I could not decide it. I spent maybe 5 minutes on calculating what is going on. And like 15 minutes, I was just sitting there like, what do I do? And I just went for queen takes h4. But this took me like 20 minutes or something. It's so ridiculous. I was so angry at myself, but I just couldn't decide. So basically what I calculated, that after queen g3, initially I really liked this, but what I didn't like is knight f4. The trick is that if I take on h4, knight takes g2. So fork and they take on h4 and they win a pawn, So after knight f4, I knew obviously I'm not going to take on h4, but my bishop is under attack, and I don't want to trade it for this knight. I don't want to. I also don't want my pawn to go to d3. So I really didn't like this position. I calculated either bishop f1, which I thought, it's ridiculous. If you have to go back, what is that? I thought bishop b5, bishop d7, take. And here I didn't like my position. I thought black was very active. Even if I play a move like knight f3, the queen leaves to h6. And it's a bit hard to see how my queen is going to become active, how I'm able to castle, because if I castle, there's knight e2, and I'm gonna lose my queen. And I still need to defend my pawn g2. So I really, really didn't know what to do here. I really didn't like it. But part of me was like, maybe queen g3 is fine. Maybe you just play bishop f1. And I just couldn't decide it. Like, which position do I prefer more? I really, really couldn't decide it. And in the end, I just took. I was like, I'm approaching 1 hour on my clock in total, so I have 1 hour left. I need to make a move. We're barely on the move 10. Barely. So I just took. And I played g3, knight f5. I was initially a bit surprised about knight f5 because I thought, well, I thought knight g6 was the main move here. Nothing too crazy. But I thought after knight f5, I take. And black's pawn structure is pretty bad. This pawn d5 is awful. My pawn on e5 is amazing, especially since it's supported by the bishop on b2. And I can always play f4 to support even more. And there's always opportunities to play e6. I mean, as long as, not right now, but as long as the bishop is not getting to e6. But okay, I played knight c3, simply attacking the pawn on d5, bishop e6, and long castle. Attacking this pawn on d5. I spent quite some time here figuring out if I want to play long castle right now, if I want to play rook d1 instead, or if I maybe want to do something else, something like knight e2, knight f4, stuff like that. But part of me got a bit impatient or something. I really thought I have to attack the pawn on d5 right now because I was scared that this knight will become active, would go to c6 and maybe e7 to defend the pawn d5, and then maybe it might be a bit difficult to put more pressure. So I thought I have to do something now, but I didn't like playing rook d1 because my king is in the center. Maybe a5 is a move, and I didn't really like where this was heading to. So I thought, let's just play long castle, and I felt a bit more safe on c1. And also my rooks are connected like this, so I thought that must be better. Now there's two moves that are interesting here for black. The first one is to play d4, because not only are you attacking my knight, you want to put the bishop on d5 to attack my sad rook on h1. So after this, there's knight e2, knight b5. What was I going to play? I think that, yeah, knight b5. I was going to play knight b5. And with bishop d5, there's f3. I wasn't sure how to evaluate this position. I mean, I'm winning the pawn d4, but after knight c6, I thought if I take, then this knight can maybe take on e5. I was not sure. I was not entirely sure. Apparently knight d6 is just fine. So after this, I guess you cannot really take on e5 because of rook a1. Oh, what? Oh, what? Oh, knight takes f5. Whoa. Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, whoa. Somehow I thought this was... Okay, well. Somehow I thought black was fine there, but apparently here you take with the bishop on d4. Bishop takes... I'm a pawn up, but my development is crap. Anyways, my opponent took on f2. That's the other move instead of d4. And I thought it makes sense because, well, you take on f2 and you get a pawn. That's could be interesting because maybe once you play bishop e3 and play f4 and you solve your double pawn problem. And obviously I take on d5, and now she played knight a6, which is a bit passive, but okay, knight c7 is being threatened by me. Here I play knight h3 to develop, bishop takes, rook takes d5, knight c7, rook d3. This looks all logical to stop the check. I actually thought she was going to give me a check here. Maybe it doesn't really change much because, yeah, I mean, my knight is defending the square f4. But somehow I was expecting this. I don't know. Knight c7, rook d3, stopping the check. Bishop b6, rook f1. And here she played g6, which is apparently not great. I mean, it's very logical to play g6 because the pawn f5 is under attack. But yeah, here I go for e6. I was really happy to play e6, but I was also a bit scared because it's quite a commitment. You're pushing the pawn. If it goes wrong, you'll lose the pawn, you'll be a pawn down, and maybe you're helping black to survive. Because we have to be honest here that black is not doing anything here. However, if you don't play e6 now, you're allowing knight e6. And then good luck ever pushing the pawn to e6. But I also thought that because I have a pass pawn, I mean, not yet pass pawn, but I can create a pass pawn on the queen side for the long run, for the future. I wasn't really sure if I should commit already to e6, or I should just push my c-pawn and, you know, have faith in the c-pawn. But yeah, I went for e6 because I was like, it's now or never. So I went to play e6, short castle, and here I play e7 because I want to tie down the rooks on the 8th rank. Yeah, I also want to keep controlling this diagonal and maybe put a bishop on f6, stuff like that. So she plays rook fc8, knight f4, f6, which is a really important move. So the reason why I didn't play bishop f6 here, I simply didn't like it. Oh yeah, because knight e8. Yeah, I completely forgot about this move. Knight e8, and I have to retreat. If I play bishop g5, then moves like f6 will be possible anyways. And this is really, really bad. So I played knight f4, and she played f6. And, I mean, obviously I take. I'm a pawn up now, finally. But this e7 pawn is not going anywhere just yet. I was not really sure what to do with this pawn. King f7. Bishop e5. Yeah, so it becomes a bit difficult to see now how do I continue playing because my e7 pawn is very, very weak. So bishop e5 was played by me for the simple reason that I want to get rid of this knight. If I get to play bishop takes c7, I put my knight on d5 and it will be much easier for me to convert the position because the knight is super strong on d5. Super strong. She plays knight e8. And I played knight d5 here. Apparently I could have played g4. I did consider this here. But why did I not decide to do it? I guess I was terrified of moves like rook c4 for some reason. For some reason I didn't like playing g4 just yet. But it was the best move. I just didn't like it. Knight d5 was what I played. And now rook c4. Now I'm not able to play g4 whatsoever. Which is why I played bishop f4. So here we are around move 26, and I was already pretty low on time here. So things start to get a bit shaky, and I really didn't like what was happening because I had a hard time seeing what I'm actually, you know, able to do in the next two moves. Rook a c8, c3. I was seeing my opponent's ideas, but I was not able to see what I do against it, what I do about it, what do I do whatsoever. Bishop d4. This I did c, king b2, bishop g7, and I just don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I did consider this move g4 for so long, here as well, but I don't know, some part of me just didn't like it at all. After rook e1, she played rook e4, and here I was like, okay, let's take, rook d1, king e6, king b3. I mean, I was not sure what was happening here. b5, so yeah, this seems like a logical move to me because, I mean, my idea is to play c4, but apparently the engine is very displeased by b5. But yeah, it just seems like a logical move to me, honestly. Bishop e3, knight f6. And now the annoying part of all of this is that my pawn on c3 is so weak. It's so weak. So, I could have played knight f4, really? Or just promote? What? And I just take the pawn a7. That's crazy to me. That's really, really crazy. I took on f6 because I couldn't... I just wanted to get rid of this knight. I didn't want to deal with that knight. Bishop takes, bishop c5, g5. Apparently not a great move. What? Oh my god. Oh my god. Here I had huge time trouble. I think I had like 30 seconds and I was just not seeing anything. I could not calculate. I could not think logically. Apparently the top move is... Okay, there's two moves, but... Okay, yeah, rook d6. So the problem for what I thought was a problem is that... So, for example, this, and apparently rook d8 is the top move. Takes. And what I thought was... I don't like this. This king goes here, pawn, brr, and I am maybe slow. I just thought this was not winning whatsoever. I did see this like once somewhere in my calculations. I see this, but I'm like, how am I better? And I'm still a bit confused. I mean, I'm a pawn up, but this pawn e4 is terrifying. This king, if it comes here, then, you know? So I was really, really terrified, but I guess, I mean, in time trouble, you cannot really calculate a lot and also make those huge decisions. So I definitely did not want to commit to this. But I guess now that I'm seeing it, it makes a bit more sense that it's winning. just during the game, it was just all cloudy to me. It was really, really hard for me to see how this is winning. So I played the move g4 just to stop king f5. I don't know, even though I'm also on king e5, king f4 like this, but okay. a6 is what she played. And here, ladies and gentlemen, here we have a small problem. So this is move 36 that she played, so we're on move 37 now. I see a way to repeat moves and get to the 14th move quickly and save time and get to the 14th move to get 30 minutes, you know? So I'm like, let's go, rook e1, king d5, rook d1, king e6. I did it again. And this is move 40. This is move 40. And here I realized if I play rook d1 check, she plays king e6. And it's 3 times the same position. I realized that I cannot play rook d1. As I was playing those moves, I realized that rook d6 is winning. So I'm sitting here after rook e1, like, I know how to win the game, but I know that rook d1 is not winning. Because that's a draw. I was so sad. So this is where it started. This is position 1. Rook e1. Position 2. So if I would have played rook d1, king e6, that would have been the 3rd repetition, and she could claim that. As I was in that position, I realized that the winning idea is rook d6, and if king e7, rook c6, and the king is overloaded. If king goes here, I take the bishop. I was so angry at myself that I missed this, because later on in the game, I realized that, well, actually also in this position, king e5 is not gonna do anything, because I just play rook c6. I was seeing some things, I don't remember exactly, but I did know that king e5 cannot be any good. If anything, like, I take on a6, I have rook c6, and there's always bishop d4 kind of threats. So when I was at here, it is move 40. I have to make my 14th move. I have 30 seconds on my clock, and I was devastated. And I was like, how do I make a move that I don't play rook d1 now? So I played h3 because I was like, I can't see any other move. If I play a4, I lose my pawn on c3, right? I mean, a4 takes, and c3 is hanging. Maybe this is still fine. But okay, I mean, I could not be bothered about that. So h3. And then she played rook e8, and I was so sad. So this is move 41, and I got my 30 minutes, and I'm just devastated because I'm like, how do I win it now? There's no way. I played rook d1 check because I want to get to d6, and here I play rook d6, but here it's not great anymore because, well, apparently it's still winning, but here I thought I'm losing, which is crazy. But I really believed I was losing, or at least I had to fight for a draw because of this pawn. And I was so sad I couldn't evaluate this properly. I think I was in my head just so devastated I missed this easy win with rook d6 earlier that I just couldn't evaluate this position. So apparently after takes, king f7, a4, a4. Oh, you take with the rook, right? Yeah, you take with the rook. For some reason, I mean, I think I just missed rook takes a4. I think that's the biggest problem because I was basically terrified. Yeah, what I calculated was e3, takes, e2, bishop here, promotion, takes. I hope I'm not the only one that thinks that this is really hard to win. I'm not sure. I mean, to me it just looks scary. I guess those pawns are really strong, but it's so scary. Like, why would you go for this voluntarily, right? I think this pawn is just really fast, which is why it's winning. But I'm terrified of losing those pawns and then that this pawn is gonna push, and then I'm not sure. I think you have to play really precisely here. But yeah, I saw this position, I thought, no. But apparently it is the only way to convert, really. Apparently king c2 is also +1 still, but yeah, it's just, I really did not like my position. So I played the move c4. And it's incredible to me that I play moves that are bad, and then all the other moves that I considered were fine, you know? It's just incredible. But okay, she played king f7, bishop e3. I mean, I'm stopping the pawn, and here she went to rook c8, bishop c5, rook e8, bishop e3, and we went for a repetition after all. And here I was so happy she played the move rook e8, because, so, she played the move rook e8, and I stopped the clock and asked the arbiter, you know, for, like, help, because I'm claiming the repetition. I want to draw. I'm done. I'm done. So I mean, we agreed to a draw. Like, she realized as I was claiming, she, you know, she was like, yeah, let's go for the draw. But I thought I was gonna lose this. I thought I was going to lose this in this final position. I thought I was losing. Like, you might call me crazy because you see the eval bar, but if you realize without eval bar that you have a pawn here on e4 that you have to fight against, and I'm seeing bishop e5, bishop f4, I had no idea what was going on, and I was so scared. I was really, really scared. So I was so glad she went for this. And we were analyzing after the game. We were actually checked, guys. We were actually, so every single round, they have 5 boards randomly drawn for a checkup. You need to get checked if you're, so if your board is chosen and you have won or you've drawn the game, if a draw happened, then both players need to be checked. If one of the players won, this player has to be checked. And they check you as in, like, the scanner, if you have, like, your phone with you and stuff. They check your back and so on. Nothing too crazy. I mean, since we drew, we both had to get checked, so we were basically just talking through the game and what we were thinking, everything. It hurt me so much when she said that she completely missed rook d6 check before, like with this idea to play rook c6 and then, you know, take the piece. I was like, no, she might have gone for this. But we were talking about the final position, and she was asking, like, what would you have done? And I said, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she was asking me what I would have done after a move like bishop e5. Okay, apparently it's still fine. So she said that she was scared of rook takes a6. She thought this was losing for her. And I was like, losing? How? I don't see it. I was terrified of bishop f4 and so on. So I didn't know how to deal with this. Apparently it's a draw, but I think this pawn is just pushing. Anyways, I'm just so sad I got myself to this point that I had to struggle, you know, that I was just suffering there. I spent almost the entire 30 minutes I spent already. I just played a few moves and I spent all my time already that I got additionally. So, yeah, I was pretty devastated. Going into the rest day here, yeah, I was really, really devastated. So, yeah, that was not fun. I was really, really pissed. Like, I mean, the result is great. I drew an international master. That's fantastic. But one, I was winning the entire game pretty much. I was pushing for so long. And a win would get me, you know, further. I would gain a lot of rating. I would play another strong opponent next round. And I'm on my way for maybe a norm, you know. But now it's like I didn't win. And I've only won before this round, I mean, after this round, I only won 1 game. So I was pretty pissed. Out of 6 rounds, I only managed to win 1. And I had so many winning positions. So I was so pissed at myself for not winning this one. So yeah, maybe it's harsh. Maybe I'm being harsh on myself. But I was really, really not happy. I was really not happy.